CI5? Who on earth is CI5? They're at best. Oh dear me, I'm most terribly sorry. The Seat Leon ST. Is it a value Volkswagen or a seductive Spaniard? Should you care? Why, let's find out, shall we? Leon? Vámonos!
Here we are with anchors tying us to what we'll call home, even if the sight of it has not yet touched our eyes. And here we are and we're together, even if we are apart, and we're together when we're together.
So welcome once again to this episode of Tweed Jacket Reviews. This time we're in Hampshire and we're driving a 2016 Seat Leon ST 1.4 TSI FR. It's been very kindly lent to me by my friends Matthew and Anna. So thanks, Matthew and Anna. Matthew and Anna. So before I get into the detail of talking about this wonderful car, can I suggest that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Leave a like and a comment below. And it all very much helps. And yes, we're going up to 400 subscribers now, which is fantastic. So what can I tell you about the Seat Leon ST? It was first launched in 2014. This is actually the third generation of Leon, but the first generation of the ST. And this current car is still in production. This is a pre-facelift car, but it was facelifted in 2017, and there were only some minor changes between this and the new model. There were multiple engines available in this car at launch, and the engine range has actually changed since it first came out. The engine in this car is a 1.4 TSI petrol. It develops 150 horsepower. It's also got cylinder deactivation, so on a motorway like this, the car will often run on just 2 cylinders, which really helps with fuel economy. Matthew said to me that he drove back from Heathrow Airport the other day and he got 75 miles per gallon. 75 miles per gallon in a powerful petrol estate car. You can't complain about that, can you? The other engines available in the Seat Leon ST at the start were a 1.2 turbocharged petrol with 105 horsepower. In other markets it's slightly different. A 1.4 turbocharged petrol with either 125 or 140 horsepower. Then that was upgraded in about 2015 to this 150 horsepower version. There are also 2 larger engines, a 1.8 litre with 180 horsepower, and then the storming Leon Cupra, which has about 300 horsepower depending on the model year. There are also some diesels, but of course I can't tell you about those. So we're on the M3 now, approaching Eastleigh and Chalmers Ford, and the car feels really smooth and stable. This 7-speed automatic gearbox that this particular car has is very, very smooth to change. The only problem is, if you're in eco mode, as I am, because I like running on 2 cylinders, then if you're pulling out of junctions or roundabouts, it's very sluggish when you initially push the throttle. What Anna normally does when driving in town, she puts it in sport mode, and then you don't have that problem at all. In terms of handling, this car feels suspiciously like a Golf. That's because it pretty much is. The platform it's based on is called the MQB platform, and that underpins everything from the Audi TT to the Skoda Octavia. So it feels very much sort of like a Volkswagen, that's because it is, but it does feel a bit sharper. Now we've got the FR trim here, so this has lowered suspension and it's a bit stiffer, so it feels a little bit jiggly at some times. So if that's a problem for you, I'd recommend the Excellence version. This particular car has got automatic lights and wipers and active cruise control. Those were optional extras on the FR, but it's very good to use, and it's very handy. In fact, when I was sourcing this car, this is one of the cars I've actually sourced myself for Matthew and Nana, they wanted a car specifically with active cruise control, and it's actually really useful, particularly in a situation like this. It'll keep you a nice safe distance from the car in front. you can still buy this generation of Leon ST brand new, and the discounts on the cars available are really good because the car is now approaching the end of its model life, and it's going to be replaced within about 6 months. But really, it doesn't feel out of date. I wouldn't say that this is an old-fashioned car at all. So what's this car like as sensible family transportation? One of the things you have to bear in mind is that, you know, this is the FR trim and therefore suspension is a little bit hard, so that might be a consideration if you're carrying lots of children in it. But overall, it's fine. There's lots of space in here, and it generally feels quite light, although the windows in the rear don't roll all the way down, and that's just worth bearing in mind if you like to rest your arm on the ledge like that. Would I prefer one of these cars over a Golf or an Octavia? I'd say yes. I mean, I do obviously drive a Seat myself, and you'll notice that I refer in this review many times to the fact I have a 2017 Seat Toledo 1 litre Excellence, and I'll compare them. But this is a very stylish car, and it strikes a really good compromise between practicality, sophistication, and low running costs. In terms of fuel economy, apart from, say, on the motorway, you're going to be getting around 50 miles per gallon with this 1.4 engine. The 1 litre engine is also very economical. It's the same engine I've got in my Seat Toledo, and I thoroughly recommend virtually all the engines, maybe not the diesels, but we don't talk about those. It's a similar car to drive to the Volkswagen Golf Estate then, but with 1 or 2 differences. Anyway, let's see how far those differences extend by looking at the extension at the back. You will have heard me say many times that the boot on my 2017 Seat Toledo was very big. Well, this one's actually bigger. This is 587 litres. And although this is not as big as the Octavia or the Golf, it's still ample for a family's luggage. If I lift up the boot floor, which is adjustable by the way, you can see we've got a space-saver spare wheel in there, and there's plenty of room for other odds and ends. We've got compartments either side as well, and this is an FR model, so we've actually got boot release levers, which make folding the seats a lot easier. So, the boot is wonderful in this car, but what's it like in the back seat? Let's find out. It's generally an easy car to get in and out of. For reference, I'm 5'11", and this is my driving position. Knee room is okay, headroom is very generous actually, and it's very comfortable in the back of here. It's very similar in fact to a Golf. I wonder why that is. 2 things that I would have pointed out on my Golf review is the fact that the rear door tops are made of hard plastic and the ISOFIX covers just come loose. And no surprises here, hard door tops and really, really annoying ISOFIX covers. It's not all bad news though. This car has a nice armrest. This was actually an optional feature, and it's got some cup holders in it with little rubber things to stop your bottles sliding around. Also in this particular car we've got some vents for the rear seat passengers, which is nice, and there's actually a ski hatch just like on my Toledo as well. Folding the seats can be done from the boot or from here. That is simplicity itself. The seat belts have little tethers here to stop them getting in the way when you do that, which is good. And overall, I think this is a very, very easy car to use for a family. Apart from these hard door tops, the rest of the materials in the back of the cabin are very nice. There's leather just here. The door handles feel a lot more substantial than, say, in a Skoda Fabia estate. The switchgear feels very solid, and overall, it's a very, very well built car. Let's see if this feeling of Teutonic solidity continues in the front. If anything, the ambience for this driver's seat is even better. We do have better materials for the door tops. You've still got this really nice leather. There's far more of the leather on these front seats than on the back. The steering wheel feels lovely to hold, and because this is the FR model, we've got this lovely red stitching, a bit like my Lady Wife's MG3. Some commentators have said that the cabin of the Leon looks dull and feels a bit cheap, but I don't really agree with that. I think it feels really well built. I think it's very logically laid out, and I even think it's quite stylish. That might just be because it's the FR model, but really if you're complaining in those sort of terms, you wouldn't be looking at this sort of car. So on top of the dashboard, soft touch material. We've also got nice leather on top of this armrest, which slides back and forward. If we want to look at the more practical side of this car, then we can look in the glove box, which is big enough for secret mission documents. The only issue is, though, the CD player is inside there, which is a bit frustrating. The door bins of this car are nice and big. The space in front of the gear stick is suitable for charging a mobile phone, and there's a USB and aux-in point here. This car's got a conventional handbrake, which is brilliant, although certain models of the Leon do come with an electronic one. So the dashboard in this car, this is a pre-facelift one by the way, has a nice touchscreen. It's similar to one again in my Toledo. We've got nice lighting for the instruments, they're all very clear. The forward visibility of this car is absolutely fine, although you can't really see the bonnet very well. So I'd definitely recommend optional front parking sensors. Rear visibility is not that good, but in this particular car, we've got a reversing camera. So in terms of equipment in this particular car, some of this was optional by the way. This car is very highly specified. We've got active cruise control. We've got automatic wipers, automatic lights. We've got dual zone climate control, satellite navigation, Bluetooth. It's very well spec'd indeed. One of the things I've noticed though that is different from say a Fabia or a Toledo is that the cruise control stalk is down here. Now lots of people like having a separate cruise control stalk, but I've actually found this quite confusing when we've been filming today. It's just a matter of personal preference more than anything else, but I thought I'd mention it anyway. Right then, what do I think of the Seat Leon ST? This car won't be to everybody's taste, particularly in this FR trim, but this is cheaper than a Volkswagen, it's more stylish than a Skoda, it's better quality than a Peugeot, and I've absolutely no hesitation recommending it to anyone. Oh, dear me, I'm terribly sorry. And leaving this island smelling, if ever so faintly, of the roses. Thank you for watching this episode of Tweed Jacket Reviews. My name is Joseph Lloyd, I'm an independent vehicle consultant. I find cars for people. Please subscribe to the channel if you'd like to do that. Don't forget to like this video and to leave a comment below. If you wish me to source a car for you, I'd love to do that. My website is www.lloydvehicleconsulting.co.uk. Please use the contact me page on my website to get in touch. I've got a Facebook page as well. It's facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. Thank you. Oh, no.
Well, mate,
No!
that was such a good take.
No!
Such a good take.
No!
Mate, you ruined it.
I know I did. I totally ruined it.
It was so good. That last little bit made me smile.
I would have no hesitation at all in recommending one of these to anyone.